All right, Tristan Warner, editor of Win Magazine here. We got two special guests on the call as we continue our interviews with the 2026 Win Magazine Award winners. We have special guest Ganon Smith from Elizabethtown College. He is the recipient of the 2026 Schalles Award for the nation's top pinner in men's college wrestling. Ganon, thanks for joining us. We also have his head coach, Eric Walker, Elizabethtown. Thank you guys for joining us. Ganon, we'll start with you. This is an extremely, prestigious award to win. As we were talking about before the call started, there's only been 5 guys to have ever won the award who are non-Division I guys, and that dates all the way back to 1999. And you were just the second ever Division III wrestler to win it. So before we get into your stats and all that kind of stuff, just talk about what does it mean to you to be named the Wade Schalles Award winner for the nation's top pinner?
I mean, the award itself is just outstanding. It means a lot because I didn't know I was even up for the award. And when I got that text, I had to text the coach and I was like, is this a scam? Because I wasn't sure, what's going on.
An April Fool's joke.
It was breaking my job. So I was like almost in tears seeing that. It feels pretty amazing to win that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, yeah, so Coach Walker, how about your initial reaction? I sent you a text, said to call me, and I think you thought it was bad news. So talk about what does it mean to you and your program to have somebody win such a prestigious award?
Yeah, well, let me just go back to the text that you sent me. Most times when my guys text me and they said, Coach, can you talk? It's only one of two things. It's one, somebody is most likely did something wrong off the mat, or they want to quit being a part of the wrestling program. So I was a little nervous about what this was going to be about. But then I also have known you for a long time, and I thought maybe you had a recruit or there was somebody you were working with, and I know we've worked with a couple guys over the years. But but no, this was my jaw dropped when you told me what he's just won, and man, it couldn't happen to a greater individual. So he's a man of faith, and just does the things the right way, and he's a great ambassador of the sport for both Elizabethtown College and just the sport in general. So I was just over the moon when I heard that. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it was good news for once, a positive change.
That's right. That's right.
Coach, before we go back to Ganon, maybe give a brief, there's going to be people all over the country seeing this award and hearing about this. And for those who maybe are like, Elizabethtown, what is that, or where is that? Talk to us real quick about just, Central Pennsylvania Division III program. You guys are pretty solid and stout every single year with guys like Ganon, who was in the NCAA finals this year. But just tell us a little bit about Elizabethtown College.
Yeah, so it's a small little D3 school, about 15 minutes outside of Hershey, Pennsylvania. We're in a really good location that we're probably, I guess we would be considered South Central Pennsylvania is where we are, and we're right about 30 minutes from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is a big hub, 30 minutes from Harrisburg, which is our capital, and 30 minutes from York, which is also another big hub. And we're only about an hour and a half from Philadelphia. So we have our fingers and touches on a lot of different guys that could potentially come. A lot of New Jersey guys want to look out here as well. And we've had a wrestling program for almost 75 years. We're going to be celebrating 75 years here in a few years, and we were fortunate and blessed to get Ganon to come here. He definitely wanted to stick with small school. He came from a very rural small school, and this was a really good fit. His sister was already here playing field hockey, and it was a really, really good fit for him. So. But yeah, it's a small school, very, very good academic school as well, and I went to Elizabethtown High School, so I was a bit of a townie when I took over here. So I no longer live in the town that I work at, but yeah, it's a great little school, man.
Yeah, awesome. Ganon, let's take a look at before we even go there, let's take a look at the Schalles Award, named after Wade Schalles. He was a NCAA champ in 1972 and 73, a legend of the sport. Widely known and considered the best pinner of all time, and that's why the award is appropriately named. But of his 153 matches he won in college, looks like he pinned 109 of those guys. So an insane pinning percentage. I want to take a look at your stats from this season real quick. So you were a senior at 184 pounds. You reached the NCAA Division III finals, and you had 40 wins this year, and 30 of them were by pin. So 75% pinning percentage. We always like to ask the guys that win this award, or gals, you could go out on the mat and win a match by a couple of points and coast to the finish line, or even now with the new scoring rules, it's easier to tech fall a guy with how many points you can rack up. What is it about pinning your opponent that is satisfying to you, or is your goal when you step out there?
I'd always tell people, like, I like to get on and off the mat. There's less of getting up in points and then getting caught and getting stuck, where
something to go wrong.
Yep. If you pin the kid and get off the mat, there's less to losing by getting caught.
Yeah. Yep. And is that something that you've always had, like going back all the way to your youth and coming up through high school and all that? Have you always been a pinner, or is that something that you developed at Etown?
I'd say so. I was a pinner my whole life because my club coach, he showed me legs, and then ever since that, throw legs, hour, you pin that.
Yep. So you're a top guy. You've got kind of a long, rangy build, I think, if I remember. So dangerous for those bigger weights. Coach Walker, talk a little about, you came up wrestling through the Division III ranks and all that, and now as a coach, you've seen so many guys come up through. To know that one of your athletes is only the second Division III wrestler ever to win this award. And like you mentioned before we hopped on the call, Marcus Levesser, who was an undefeated 4-time D3 champ, was the only other recipient. How does that feel, knowing you got Ganon here to win that award? He's in pretty elite company.
Yeah, well, definitely, goes back to his club coach. It was not for me, because I led my school, my college, in all-time decisions. So quite the opposite of this award.
You're the coast to the finish guy, like me.
No, but it's been awesome to watch Ganon's run here in his 4 years, and my wife made a comment many times throughout this season in particular, because this year was a little bit special. He's had a lot of pins in multiple years, but this year in particular just really looked like he was in a race to finish the match as fast as possible. It was quick. A lot of first period falls this year, and he's got a really interesting style that kind of leads to that. A lot of things that a lot of coaches probably wouldn't really necessarily teach, but his style is very different, and it leads to a lot of falls, and we're just grateful to be on this side of it rather than being the opponent of Ganon Smith. So,
did he ever raise your blood pressure a little bit watching him wrestle out there?
Yes, all the time. Look, I'm littered with gray, so
we can attribute that to him. That's awesome. Ganon, looking forward, you're graduating as an NCAA finalist. Any plans for the future? I think you said you're graduating here in a couple weeks, and then also, will you be sticking around the sport at all?
Hope to just give back. New moves.
Awesome. Good stuff. Coach, having a guy like Ganon come through your program, achieve that success and a prestigious award like this, what kind of impact has he left on the rest of your squad that you guys can take into the future?
Yeah, I just think that the confidence that you can get in there and do it. He's a guy that comes from humble beginnings and just puts the work in. He was a little 103 pounder when he started as a freshman in high school, and he's a jacked individual right now, and pretty intimidating looking out there, and so I think it just gives guys the air of confidence that, hey man, I can do this as well, and he's willing to show anybody at any time kind of what he does. It's very non-traditional, but he's been a gem for us for sure.
Yeah, awesome. And last thing I was going to ask you would be, what does it mean for an award like this to go to a Division III wrestler? What would you say Coach, just in general, how big is that for Division III to get that kind of recognition? I guess, like I said, only the second time it's ever happened.
Yeah, I think for this to go to a Division III wrestler is really awesome, and it shows the growth of our sport. When I first started coaching, I think we just had over 100 programs, and I believe this year we were up over 130 programs, and so it's definitely showing that growth. We get a lot of talented kids right out of the gate as high school seniors. But there are an awful lot of Division I and Division II transfers that find like, hey, that's not the lifestyle they want, and they come in here and they have success. But we have these guys are having some massive success, and I think you could take. I do truly wish that there was an opportunity for some of the D2 and D3 guys to kind of go up into the D1. Tournament, but that I know that stopped years ago. But oh man, it would be great to see that just to put their hands on those guys and just get an opportunity. So, but I think it's just demonstrating the growth of our sport. It's turning heads. I think the way that some programs out there really market themselves through their social medias, showing film, showing video clips of that. It gets them excited to be a part of this D3 culture. So I think it's an outstanding award, and grateful that Ganon was able to put together a season like that, so it can shine light on Division III wrestling.
Yeah, yep, for sure. And Ganon, we'll finish up with you. Similar question. You're a guy that came out of Pennsylvania, one of the best wrestling state, arguably, and you probably easily could have gone Division I. You could have gone Division II. What did it mean for your career to go to a program like Etown, have such a successful career, and then continue to help, put Division III on the map, not only by how well you did, but now by winning an award like this?
I was going to say, one of the main reasons I went to Division III was because I didn't want to be like the professional. If I need help in the class, they could help me. And with wrestling, I was coming here the day Coach Walker, our wrestling staff, some of the best guys in Division III, arguably.
Yep.
If I help working through something, they'll help me. They'll show me new moves. Like, my moves aren't working, they'll like search it like better. So when I get to the match, it works. And I'd say going to Division III was one of the best things for me. Because my wrestling went through the roof after graduating, got to college, and I didn't think it was going to be as far as it was. A lot of moments where I was losing, where I just was not expecting that Division III. And a lot of people overlook that. Like, they think it's just going to be.
Yep.
But there's a lot of points where it's harder than most people think.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, you've been a tremendous ambassador for the sport and for Division III wrestling, and we wish you the best in your future, and congratulations on the award.
Thank you.
And also, Coach Walker, thanks for joining us and talking a little bit about this guy and your program. So we thank you guys. Congratulations again. Huge, tremendous accomplishment for both Ganon and for Elizabethtown College Wrestling, and best of luck to you guys in the future.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks. Thank you very much.